Para abrir oficialmente o evento, chamamos ao palco Luiz Meisler, vice-presidente executivo sênior da Oracle para a América Latina.
Bom dia! Ouça energia, bom dia! Bom, para introduzir esse evento, muito obrigado pela presença de todos vocês. E eu vou introduzir por pouco tempo a nossa oportunidade como profissionais de tecnologia. Nós temos uma oportunidade única. Eu acho que passamos por muitas transformações nos últimos anos profissionais, quer dizer, aqui de 30, 40 anos de experiência. Eu acho que nesse momento nós vivemos um momento de uma ruptura enorme no nosso dia a dia. Isso traz para a gente uma tremenda oportunidade. E eu tenho tentado transmitir que é uma oportunidade de transformar o mundo. Se vamos no nível das nossas empresas, nossos sistemas, nossos processos, tem mais de 20 anos. Não tem nenhuma correlação, uma relação com redes sociais, com mobilidade, com processo de tomada de decisão. Tudo é agregado aos nossos processos. E hoje nós temos uma grande oportunidade como profissionais de tecnologia de ajudar as nossas empresas a dar um passo monumental para o futuro. Nós, como companhia, eu entendo sem muita humildade, somos uma empresa visionária, porque nós já temos essa visão, já estou na companhia já há mais de 18 anos, de que isso iria acontecer. E nós chegamos a esse momento totalmente preparados. E se a gente segmenta essas oportunidades em 3 pilares, infraestrutura, plataforma e aplicativos, eu entendo que a companhia hoje está extremamente preparada para ajudar vocês nessa grande transformação. Se a gente falar de infraestrutura, todo o processo de consolidação, do caminho para o cloud, da simplificação da infraestrutura, hoje a Oracle talvez seja a única companhia, acredito, a única companhia que pode ter esses 3 patamares. Na infraestrutura, consolidar, simplificar e até no extremo, assumir a responsabilidade total, levando os seus processos, seja para uma nuvem privada dentro da sua própria companhia ou para uma nuvem pública dentro dos nossos data centers, que inclusive já há um presente no Brasil. Na parte de plataforma, nós temos a capacidade de disponibilizar todas as ferramentas que vão levar vocês a um processo de maior mobilidade, integração, segurança. Hoje somos a única companhia que tem a infraestrutura e a plataforma também disponível na nuvem privada ou na nuvem pública. E por último, na área de aplicativos. Aplicativos vem a grande revolução, né? Como eu vou conhecer o meu cliente? Antes, para conhecer meu cliente, eu segmentava mercados, eu ia para uma mídia comum, dava um tiro de canhão para atingir um mosquito, e eu cada vez mais, hoje, tenho a capacidade de integrar os canais, encantar meu cliente e conhecer a necessidade do meu cliente a cada momento. Nós temos as ferramentas para melhorar o conhecimento que vocês têm dos nossos clientes, dos seus clientes, né? Integrando sites, call center e todos os canais que eventualmente as suas companhias têm disponível. Além disso, por último, não menos relevante, neste momento, eu acho que isso vai ser um dos grandes anúncios desse evento, a disponibilização do RP na nuvem. Um RP que traz uma gestão de plataforma completamente diferenciada, que só não estandariza os processos de negócio, mas mais que isso, traz embebido todo um processo de gestão de negócio completamente diferenciada no mercado. E mais uma vez, na nuvem pública e na nuvem privada. Então, outra vez, entendo que a nossa companhia está totalmente preparada e talvez seja a única nessas 3 plataformas, porque se nós olharmos a cada uma dessas plataformas, talvez a gente tenha concorrentes completamente diferentes. Mas nenhuma companhia na área de tecnologia tem a capacidade de entregar essas três plataformas, seja na nuvem pública ou na nuvem privada. E para introduzir esse evento, eu tenho o grande prazer de introduzir o CEO global, Mark Hurd.
Thank you. Obrigado.
Obrigado.
Good morning. Are you all awake? Yeah, I just want to tell you as we get started. In California, it's 5 o'clock in the morning. So this is audience participation. I'm counting on all of you to have a high level of energy this morning. So first, it's great to be here. Great to be back in Brazil. It's a big crowd. Luis, how many people? 13,000 at the series of events. So this is a big event, biggest event I think we'll have had in Brazil. Maybe the biggest conference in the history of Brazil in terms of number of attendees. So, very exciting. Thank you all for participating. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the direction of our industry, the direction of the cloud, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about why this thing Luis was talking about called the cloud is growing the way it is. And then I'm going to do a little bit of predictions for you. I'm going to make some predictions about the growth of the cloud and sort of the position it's going to be in relative to our industry over the next 10 years. And it's a possibility because it's a prediction. Possibility I'm wrong, but I don't think so. So let me tell you a little bit about then we'll try and do Q&A if we can, if we have time. All right, first chart's already up. They got ahead of me. Let me tell you a little bit about what's gone. This has nothing yet to do with IT. This is just the worldwide economy. You all feel the economic weakness in Brazil. Well, let me tell you, it's not that strong globally. And let me try to tell you what this chart says. So you can see the top of the chart is really trying to show you the value in share dollars. And then the bottom of it is the years 2008 through 2015. So a long period of time. And the top of it's trying to show you the growth rate, meaning revenue growth rate, and what we're measuring is the Standard & Poor's 500. So the 500 biggest companies that are in the United States. So big companies. And what it says is that their revenue growth is a little less than 1% on a compounded annual growth rate. So not very high. But their earnings are growing 5%. So revenue 1, but earnings 5. So you know what that means? What's happening to expenses? They're going down. So a little bit of revenue growth, more earnings growth. Let's go to the next chart. And this is what's happening to IT inside the expenses. So expenses are going down, and IT, which is a relatively big part of the expense structure, is going down. Now, you can see here growth. I changed the chart a little bit on you. So remember that last chart with 2008 through 2015? This is 2011 through 2015, so not the same years. And I did go global. So this is not the S&P 500. So if you're going to tweet that I changed the metrics and I changed the charts, I'm here to confess these are a little bit different set of metrics than what I had before, but they're emblematic of what's happening. So you can see in 2011, roughly 5% growth, flat for the next 3 years, and then this last year, which people are just really getting the numbers for 2015, a decline of 5%. It's likely, again, these numbers are not exactly right, but they're going to be roughly right. And as you see these expenses coming down, IT is a contributor to that. Okay? So first thing, revenue, little bit of growth in the S&P 500, more earnings, expenses down, and within that, IT expenses are getting cut. Next chart. Now I've switched on you again. I've stayed global, and I've looked at the total software market. So now, remember I went from IT, now I went to software. This is software as a part of the IT market. And this is solely looking at 2016. So this is a prediction. We're not through with 2016. So again, just to make sure I'm not trying to trick you here, this is a 2016 prediction. This is not my prediction. This is coming from sort of industry analysts of 6% growth in software. Okay? We lost the chart there. So 6% growth in software. You can see what's happening, though, is that there's a little bit of growth in what you would call on-premise software, but lots of growth in cloud software. And you're going to see this trend repeated, and I'm going to explain to you in a little while why. Okay, so there's a reason, there's a whole set of reasons why, but right now, first thing to understand is big growth in cloud. So remember, total IT, slight decline, cloud software growing 25%, on-premise software growing 3%, total software growing 6%, but driven by this cloud software total. Next chart. Okay, now a lot of numbers on a chart. Luis, you want to go through these numbers at all? No. Anytime I come down here and make a presentation, I always like to ask Luis numbers just to make sure it's sort of entertainment for me. But you can see this is now LAD, and LAD, very small growth. 1.3% growth, and anytime you're looking at growth that's 1.3% growth, it could be flat. Could be 2, but it's in that range. This is very different from what we've seen over the past, 10 years back when LAD was probably the highest growth rate in the world, right up there with China and some of the other markets in terms of the speed of growth. But you can see, even though it's 1.3%, cloud growth rate, 23.7% CAGR. So really fast cloud growth rate, almost up to the speed of the worldwide market. And you can see it coming in big growth in SaaS. And the SaaS growth at 24.3%, I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, you can see that. That's against the biggest part of the market. So the SaaS market in LAD is the biggest of the cloud markets, and it's growing the fastest. Or, yeah, right now a little bit smaller than IaaS, which is not the biggest part of the market, but has the fastest growth rate. Look at the bottom, what I guess would be, your bottom right, which would say LAD public cloud adoption. 94% of LAD enterprises deployed some kind of cloud service in 2015. So you're getting to the point now where almost everybody has touched one cloud service or another here in the region. So very, very important penetration rate. You can see now what's going on in terms of the 5-year CAGR in Brazil. So this is a market that, now I want to make sure I'm very clear with you about Oracle in Brazil. I'm a big believer, you look at the size of the Brazilian economy, at a couple of $1 trillion and the 9th biggest GDP in the world. And it's the reason that I continue to believe this economy will rebound. It will become, and I believe its growth rate, while negative 0.3%, you can see that's the 2015 to 2020 prediction. Almost assuredly wrong. But I believe that'll actually improve, and I believe if it does improve, all these growth rates here will actually go up as it relates to this market. And it's one of the reasons we've invested in data centers, we've invested in infrastructure in Brazil. I'm going to talk to you about an exciting announcement we're making in Brazil yet today. All right, next chart. All right, now I'm going to do something dangerous. I'm going to tell you about 10 years from now. But I'm going to tell you about 10 years from now in IT, not politics or any of this other stuff. So I'm going to tell you about IT and what I think is going to happen in IT, particularly as it relates to the cloud. and you're free to, cheer or boo or do whatever you want to do. As long as it's, within good taste, I'm up for anything. All right, here are these predictions. First one. Okay, this is on applications. So if you look by 2025, 80% of all production applications will be in the cloud. 85% of all new applications now, new ones going in, are in the cloud. Public cloud SaaS is on 24% of the applications market today. Almost everything new is going to go to the cloud. 80% by the time you get to 2025. And I put these charts together a few months ago, all these thoughts, and I think I'm low. I think all that's left by 2025 are applications that you just can't find a commercial alternative for in the cloud. Homegrown app, no commercial alternative. I'm going to run it till it drops. That's what's left on-prem. Everything else goes. Prediction 1. Next chart. Prediction 2. There will only be, of those applications, there'll only be 2 suite providers. Now, 2 things you have to come in there. I believe suites will win. Suites being defined as you have to have multiple applications. Point products, I don't believe people are going to just buy point products. People are going to buy ERP or financials from somebody, supply chain from somebody else, HR from somebody else, sales from somebody else, all this kind of stuff. I don't think that's the way it's going to go. I think, in fact, it's going to be just the opposite. I think people are going to try and buy as much as they can from as few people as they can and create as little complexity as possible. I don't think people want to move a mess of complexity on premise to a mess of complexity in the cloud. I don't think people are going to want to integrate multiple clouds. So I got 25 clouds, out there, say, okay, somebody put these together. I actually believe that's stupid. Does that translate well, Luis, into Portuguese? Stupid does not translate? Same word. Oh, it's very good, so you don't have to translate it. Yeah, it's just stupid. Okay. So, full suite, I think there'll be 2 suite providers. I'm willing to volunteer that Oracle's one of them. Now, I don't know who the other will be. And really, nobody's positioned right now in the cloud to do it, but I think it'll have to occur. I think you'll have 2 suite providers providing suites. 80% of those applications will be, that I've talked about earlier, will be in the form of suites. I think there will be point solutions. I think there always will be. But I don't think it's going to be a big percentage of the marketplace. Okay? All right. Prediction 2. Prediction 3. All right. Now, let me try to give you a backdrop on numbers. There is $2 trillion of spend. Everybody knows this, I know, so I'm just going to repeat it because I'm sure everybody knew it this morning. Worldwide GDP, everybody knows this number, right? Luis, what's the size of worldwide GDP? 3 trillion? No, guess 3 trillion. That's wrong. 1 trillion? No, that's wrong. No. GDP. Yeah, no clue. Anybody here with a clue? This is not a good crowd. Remember, it's 5 a.m. in California. I was looking for energy from the crowd. Not only no energy, no answers. So worldwide GDP is 75 trillion. I mean, Brazil alone is 2 trillion. How could you have guessed that worldwide GDP is 3 trillion? It's 5, yeah. Okay, so no help from the front of the room. So worldwide GDP is 75 trillion. 3% of that's IT, 2 trillion. Half consumer, half enterprise, okay? 1 trillion is consumer, all this consumer apps and iPhones and, all this stuff. 1 trillion is enterprise IT. Now, if you took enterprise IT, how big did I just tell you enterprise IT was? How big? 0. 1 trillion, it's very good. See, he's listening. He's listening, he's learning, and so 1 trillion. Dev test, development and testing of applications, is 30% of all of enterprise IT. So let me do the math for you because I don't dare ask anybody here. 30% of 1 trillion is 300 billion. $300 billion is just dev test of IT. Servers, licenses, data center stuff, staff, programmers, etc. I predict all of that moves to the cloud by 2025. Every single dime. I believe it to be 20% utilized, meaning that a lot of what's bought for dev test is unused assets, underutilized assets. I believe if a CFO figures that out, well, I'll do the math for you. If it was 20% utilized, 80% non-utilized, 240 billion of wasted assets, just stranded. Unused servers, unused data centers, unused license, because programmers only program when they want to program. By the way, we see it at our place. We have 40,000 engineers that program. They don't use the server at night. They don't use the licenses at night. Now you get the opportunity to go to the cloud and only use it when you want to, when you need it. What's going to happen? Forget just the technology of it. Once the CEO and CFO figure this out, it's all gone. It's all moving. 2025, and I think I'm slow, all dev test moves to the cloud. If you ask yourself, why is Oracle investing in platform as a service? Why is Oracle investing in infrastructure as a service? You need nothing more than this chart. We have Oracle, we have Java, we have open source tools. Basically everything a programmer could ever use to build an application available right now. Why have we worked so hard? Because we believe this to the core will all move to the cloud. Prediction 3. Prediction 4. Virtually all the data will be stored in the cloud. Remember I told you 80% of production apps, 100% of dev test, basically all the data will be in the cloud. Backup will be in the cloud. Restore will be in the cloud. Business continuity will be in the cloud. Production apps, 80% will be in the cloud at least. All dev test is the cloud. Basically, all of the enterprise data will be in the cloud. 5th prediction. Now this one might be hard for you to believe. I want to make sure I explain this to you. That by 2025, and by the way, I think it's true today as it relates to Oracle, will be the most secure IT environments in the world. Secure. I get questioned all the time. CEO will ask me, can you make your cloud, can you give it the same level of security that I have in my data center on premise? And I tell CEO all the time, there's no way I could make it that bad. There's no chance I could make the security that weak. Let me explain. As an example, imagine that all of our customers, roughly speaking, are about a year behind us in patching. A year behind. Guess what in our cloud? We're not. 10% of our customers have bought all of our security. Half of what's been bought hasn't been implemented. Guess what? We've implemented all of our security. Your data in our cloud, fully encrypted. Pretend you could get through. Pretend. You get nothing. Fully encrypted, fully patched, full implementation of security. And we get attacked every day, tens and tens of thousands of times. And we get the opportunity to see virtually every attack that comes through and then patch to that attack. And then implement that patch immediately. So this will do nothing but get more and more robust. Now, one other thing. Remember difficulty in the old on-premise world. You use multiple server types, multiple operating systems, multiple databases, multiple pieces of middleware, and you mix and you match them sort of like a jigsaw puzzle. I get this OS over there with this database over there, and every time you change the alignment of your technology, you make it not only hard to run it, you make it really hard to secure it. Multiple configurations, multiple stacks, extremely complex. And guess what? In our cloud, which by the way, I think you'll see the same in other enterprise clouds over time, the exact same configuration, the same platform, the same OS, the same middleware, the same database, the same exact configuration. Not only easier to manage, not only easier to run, but easier to secure. So those 5 predictions, we'll see if I'm right. If there's anything I think could be wrong, is I might be too slow. Some of this happens in 2022, 2023. So, by the way, remember, if it happens even in 5, 6 years, one big thing I should mention again, this world will still be partially on-prem, partially in the cloud. One of the key differentiators is the ability now to work back and forth, because the on-prem world will be here for, if you believe my charts, for the next 10 years, there'll be some part of the world still on-prem. And those two worlds have to work together. All right, next chart. Well, this is us. This is our strategy, and I hope you've heard this before, and my real hope with our strategy is that it becomes boring. That everybody says, I get it. Those guys have the same strategy they've had for the last several years. The issue is it's a lot easier to write it down on a piece of paper than it is to execute it. We finished our fiscal year spending $5.2 billion in R&D. We've bought like 40, almost 50 companies over the past several years, in addition to have spent over $5 billion of R&D for the last several years. So we spent, almost over $20 billion in R&D the last 4 years, bought tens of companies, all to execute this strategy. We put in 23 global data centers, including one here in Brazil, or 2 here in Brazil, with the objective to build out our entire cloud infrastructure. And it is, for us, what I heard Luis talking about earlier, or at least I thought I did, I didn't have any translator, but it's what I thought I could hear. 3 layers to the cloud, and now really a 4th, and I'll talk about that in a second. Applications, SaaS, and for us, applications are to be best of breed in each application. Each application, ERP, HCM, sales, marketing, service, etc., to be the best, but also to be a suite. Platform to us is everything that's not an application or not an infrastructure. BI, database, Java, etc. That's our platform. And we find it important that when you're in the SaaS business, you have to be in the platform business. And then infrastructure as a service. And you're going to hear more and more from us about infrastructure as a service, because we believe once you're in a cloud, you're not going to want to move back and forth that often from cloud to cloud. You're going to want to support a platform, support an application set with infrastructure. So then we support data as a service, which is data as a cloud, lots of data about customers that we can also bring to the cloud as well. And today, we're the only IT company that has the ability to traverse or to deliver all these different parts of the platform and the cloud. Now, I'm going to say one last thing, and then I'm going to make an announcement, and then will we have time for Q&A or no? Maybe? I will? Okay. So let me try to finish up first, and then we can decide how much time we got. Here's why people move to the cloud. I think it's one of those few things where you can actually get more innovation I mean, you're getting innovation, you have a standard set of capabilities, and you're getting new releases, continuous releases all the time of software. No monolithic upgrades. This is basically continuous set of innovation that comes along, and you can get it at a lower cost. Most people can convert their on-prem to cloud, and if you're really efficient, you can save about 30% in total cost of ownership. If you're really inefficient, you can save more. We've seen people save 50%. But it's lower cost to get more innovation, and it's more secure at the same time. This is a huge change in our industry. Probably won't come around this way again in terms of this magnitude. And if you looked at our industry, there are companies in our industry firing tens of thousands of people. Companies in our industry selling themselves to other companies. All because this change is basically revolutionizing the entire industry. This movement of workload from on-prem to the cloud. And investing in it, it's why we've invested for years in this strategy to get ahead and to be the first ones to be able to deliver a complete suite of capabilities. Now, very important for us to deliver a complete suite and then be able to deliver that globally. So let's go to the next chart. We have an exciting new announcement in Brazil, and that for us is the localization. Now, this isn't just us delivering ERP in the cloud in Portuguese, but completely localized, for Brazil. So this is a big, big announcement for us. Now, let me give you an example. We are number 2 in the world in on-premise ERP. There's another company who's ahead of us. They're from Germany, and they have not, I'll tell you, let me tell you how much I think they've done for the cloud. Nothing. I think they've rewritten none of their software for the cloud. They say the words, but most of the words, when I look underneath it, it's basically the on-premise software moved to some other data center, and then they give you the software from that other data center, and they call that cloud. I think that's not right. I think cloud is really a completely fully automated SaaS capability where you're getting continuous flow of automated, incremental new software all the time. New features that come every week, and when we release the feature once, we release it for everybody. That's our cloud. We put new features out every week, and it goes to every customer, available if every customer wants it around the planet. Localized for their market. So very big difference. We're announcing ERP today. So if you have an interest in more innovation at a lower cost than current today on-prem systems, this is the first big, I want to make sure I say this again. This is a big deal. This is for us, and let me give you an idea how fast this has moved. And we reported our Q4 results about a week ago, something like that, a week ago. And in the quarter, we had over 800 customers, 800, buy cloud SaaS ERP. We have over 20, if you think this is a brand new market, by the way, I sort of do. We have 2,600 customers already in roughly 2 years running cloud SaaS ERP. Now, just to make sure you didn't misunderstand, I want to say that again. 2,600. They include companies, small companies, like General Electric. I was trying to make a joke. It's early California time. This is my best material. We have a bank, you may have heard, HSBC. All the way to U.S. companies like, have you ever heard of Lyft? does limo, very small. So ranging from small companies to the biggest companies and most sophisticated companies in the world are going cloud SaaS for financials and ERP. Why? Luis, ask me why. Are you with me here so far? I know you couldn't follow the numbers. This was not a hard one. You just got to ask me why. Yeah, it's very good. Why? It's great. Great. I need better help up here. So why? Let me tell you what the use case are. If I'm running a division, I'm running a country, I want to get it spun up quickly, I go cloud SaaS. I want to save money. I want to transfer the innovation from my IT budget and transfer it to Oracle's R&D budget. I want to go do this. This is going to do nothing, by the way. Let me just give you an example. Think about how many programmers you have on supply chain, manufacturing, financials in your IT shop that are trying to give you more features for your software. Okay, think about whatever number you think that is. Let me tell you how many we have building this every day. This is not the people running the cloud. These are the people just programming. We have 3,000 people coming to work, programming this software, building features every single day. I just want to make sure I'm clear. Those are not 3,000 people building cloud SaaS applications. It's 3,000 people building ERP. By the way, I think Thomas is here tomorrow. Thomas Curran's our head of software. He always wants more people. He wants more. Our HCM applications, human capital management, we have 2,000 people that just do HCM. 5,000 people that do HCM financials. I'm just trying to give you an example, to give you some context for the magnitude of the resource. Those people are not doing our on-premise application. I just want to make sure I'm clear. That's a separate group. These 3,000 people just build cloud SaaS ERP. Those 2,000 people just build HCM cloud SaaS. Those aren't the people running the data centers. That's yet another group of people. So that's the magnitude of the innovation available to you at a lower cost as we make this move. And now we're announcing it to supplement the data center capabilities we've announced in Brazil to announce this here. Okay, let's do, we got 5 minutes? 3 minutes? No minutes? 5, okay. So let's, I'll take whatever questions. Anybody got a question? I'm glad to try to answer it. If not, I'm sure Luis can answer it. He can't answer any of my questions, but might be able to answer yours. Give it another few seconds. Hello. I can hear you perfectly.
On your right.
I'm on my right. Here I am.
I would like to know, you've been investing now in services, and how you can guarantee your strategy in services, which is a new focus of Oracle, and how can you adapt to local legislations in Brazil, which is quite particular, to as the service is SLA are in the US.
Yeah. Well, the SLAs aren't always in the US. That's one of the reasons why we build out local capabilities. So remember, what's important for us is to build globally, but deliver locally. So it really is sort of an interesting model, the way you describe it. And you're right. We're moving from a products model to a services model. And within a services model, we're moving to a localized services model. And so that's work. And so for us, we have to be very thoughtful about our data center partners, selecting the right data centers, making sure we have the right staff, making sure we've got the right automated set of applications. As I said earlier, the nice thing about our application set is it really is a global set of applications, albeit localized to your point. And by the way, Brazil is hard. Just to give you an idea, I don't want to make this good news or bad news, but this is 2 releases after we announced our first global set of financials applications. So it took us time to make sure, to your point, that we got it right. But I hope if there's anything you take from this, is our commitment to Brazil. I mean, it's a big commitment for us to do exactly what you said. You know, tariffs change here quicker, rules, regulations change here quickly. And there's also a lot of them. And so it requires dedicated staff, and that's why I tried to give you an indication of the magnitude of our staff and the resource we apply to it. This is a very important market to us. Several years ago, we didn't make the investments back 20 years ago in the ERP market of localization to be here first. And it was very important to us that we did that this time. So this was a big decision for us, a big investment for us, and that's why we did it. And we expect to come to the market and do well. Thank you. Anything else for me? Maybe it was just, that was so clear, couldn't have a question. I mean, just, all right. All right, with that, I'll thank you very much. Have a great conference. It's great to see all of you here. Okay? Bye.
Obrigada, Mark. E é com muito prazer que convidamos o vice-presidente sênior de produto da Oracle Corporation, Reg Bradford, para a próxima apresentação do Oracle OpenWorld.